Well, that was quick. I keep forgetting how quick you made that intro, Rambling Canuck.
Yes. I like how, well, it was short and sweet. I can
And
prolong
I
it if you like.
appreciate that. I really do. No, that's absolutely perfect. Welcoming my guests, Rambling Canuck and the Professor. Thank you for joining us, Kara and Mr. Hyde. I thank you guys so much for being here. We are talking about paganism. What do you guys think of the just off the top of your head, paganism? What is it?
Professor, you want to go first or you want me to go first?
He's asking if you want to go.
And Kara managed to get her computer working. She just got a green screen. That's all right. That's fine. Good deal. Good deal. And welcome, Taylor. That's my daughter, by the way. Hello, Taylor.
Yeah. Hey, Taylor.
All right. So, who wants to go first? What does paganism mean in modern society? Is it a religion or is it a way of thinking?
It could be both, depending on how you look at it. Because technically, I mean, if you really want to get down to it, pagan is, in a lot of ways, especially depending on how far back you go, is anything that isn't the established religion
of the area.
Of the area, right?
Well,
so
okay.
If you're going back to when they used to, they used to pray to Thor and those gods. If you prayed to God, you were a pagan. But then there's the other terminology, which when Christianity took the main stage, anything that wasn't Christianity turned into paganism.
Correct.
So it is basically anything that is not the major dominated religion of that area. So if Christianity is your main religion for that country or area, anything that isn't Christianity can be loosely determined as paganism.
And Professor?
Paganism is a very broad word. Anyway,
yeah.
Now I know your
That's
wife.
What I was trying to get across.
I have to be really. I was told that I had to be completely politically correct during this stream. My wife is on this stream with us today. So paganism in modern day society, commonly called neo-paganism, is a massive shift from what it used to be. You have the combination of multiple groups coming together and sharing knowledge and pulling from that. So paganism is both a religion and a way of life now. It's more of a spiritualism way of life in the term of neo-paganism.
That's
rather than
the
an
word I
established
was
religion.
looking for. That's the word I was looking for. Spiritualism. Yes, thank you very much for using that word, Professor. I appreciate that.
I got the word of the day.
You got the word of the day. That's the word I was looking for. Yes. Neo-paganism, new paganism is more about spirituality than it is about old-timey religions. Anna Strena, did I say it right?
Her mic's off.
Unmute your microphone? Down on the bottom left, just hit unmute. Yeah? There you go.
There you go. Now we can hear you.
Yeah, okay. So it's an Austrian. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Go ahead.
Okay. I had to turn the mic. So it's a Nostriana.
And that's the bumper sticker with all the different religious symbols on it, right?
No. I don't. Whatever. If that's your thing, then cool. But that's just my name, Anostriana.
Oh, Anastriana. Oh, sorry.
Anostriana.
Anastriana. I will get that right
Yes,
from now on, I think.
maybe. It's okay.
Don't do that. You'll hurt yourself, Mr. CCTV. All right, carrying on.
So, you had a question for me?
Yes, Anastriana. The modern view of paganism. And if I understand correctly, you are a modern pagan. Is that correct?
Technically, yes.
Okay.
I think the modern view of paganism is 100% run on Hollywood. And it's not Hollywood. It's paganism is witchcraft and, weird stuff. And it's not that.
So,
It's just,
would you agree that the old religions that are not Christian-based religions are mostly grouped into, I'm talking about Western European religions. Would you agree that those are grouped into a paganism? And I don't want to say cult because it's not a cult. You guys are not cultists.
no.
But
No.
Technically.
No, it's been recognized, Professor, as, the different sects have been recognized largely as their own religion, just like heathenism, worshiping Odin, that has been actually recognized as a religion.
Yes,
You can go
because
to
we
the
do have
United
a
States.
large temple.
oh,
Yeah.
and we actually have a very good thought in the chat. Here we go. And this is from
Yeah.
Taylor. I thought paganism was worshiping the devil. All right, that's an excellent subject to talk about. Let's go
Thank
through
you,
that.
Hollywood.
Right, thank you, Hollywood. I got it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Let's start with Rambling Canuck. What do you think about that?
Oh, that's absolute BS. That's Hollywood.
Hell stand.
And basically, like I said in my opening statement, in the broadest of broad terms, paganism is anything that is not the established religion. So Christianity would look at worshiping Odin, Thor, witchcraft, anything that is not our belief as technically paganism. That's not what it is, but that's the broadest stroke of the brush you can give it. That's where they sit. So Hollywood has been able to paint paganism in such a bad brush because it's not the establishment, like anything else. If it's not the established, they can kind of have fun with it, and they have. So when we think paganism and we think witchcraft, we think worshiping the devil, etc., that's all Hollywood, because that's what they've shown in the movies.
Indeed.
Right, Professor. What's your opinion on this one?
The question there is, which devil are we worshiping? Whenever you talk about paganism, you're talking about a very broad spectrum of theology.
Yep.
So most of the devils actually from Christianity were actually gods in their own right during a whole other time, pre-Christianity. So worshiping the devil in the Christian viewpoint, for pagans, is a good way of diverting people away from gathering up knowledge of other cultures and other theologies and pushing them into their own.
And I'm going to get into that because I know about the Christian conquering of the New World. So we'll move on. Go ahead,
Anostriana.
Anastriana. I honestly thought I would get it right from now on. Anastriana, go ahead.
You'll get it. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I
Yes.
can't remember which way the microphone goes. Okay. So I have this kind of funny story on how at least the United States views paganism. Several years ago, I got this phone call. Those stupid polls, and I was bored, so I decided to do it. And went through all the questions and was, whatever, and got to the schematic ones, like your household size and your race and all of that and your religion.
Okay.
And I said, I'm Wiccan. And I could hear him typing. He goes, I can't find that. And I said, so try which? It's typing. I can't find that. Try pagan. He's typing like crazy. And I spell it out for him. Like maybe you're spelling it wrong. Comes back, I can't find that. So I finally just went, just put other. But for me, that speaks so, like, just all of these other, speaking other from, the base Christian and Catholicism and, Hinduism and Islamic and all of that stuff. The government, as of, I don't know, that was like 7 years ago, still hadn't had that in their computer system.
And we got a shout out from LDG. What's up, LDG Pixels? Sorry to interrupt you.
No worries.
Nostriana.
Good job.
Continue. Told you I'd get it eventually.
Yes. So I just think that speaks hugely where you can like go into the American military and pick Wiccan, pick pagan, pick heathen as your your religion on your dog tag.
Yeah.
But you can. I've seen proof of this. But on the whole, it still hasn't reached all the deeper levels of government.
No, and we did talk about the Wiccan religion a couple weeks ago. But yeah, that gets grouped in with paganism as well. And so we do need to talk about that, but we'll talk about the history of paganism first. So Professor,
Yes.
you wanted to go back to the Babylonian and the
Well, we can go back to all the way to the Babylonian, or we can begin at the Roman legions. That might be easier for people to understand. If we do that.
I really do think that going back to the Roman legions would be ideal. If you can define the reason that we use the word pagan now, using the Roman legions as an example, that would be ideal.
Yeah, we can do that. So, back in the times of yore, we had.
Aren't you supposed to be talking in old-timey English and Latin while you do that?
I could speak Latin, but nobody would understand what I'm saying, and I might actually summon something, so we might not want to do that. So, Rome was, at one point in time, polytheistic. Extremely similar to the Greek religion. You had, instead of Zeus, it was Jupiter, etc., etc. They were really astronomically aligned during that time, so on and so forth. They really believed in astronomy and the gods superseding mortal form and living anywhere where they chose, even the planets. And that lasted for almost the entirety of the Roman Empire until the rise of Christianity, the crucifixion of Jesus Christ, etc., etc. Now, what this did is cause a massive rift in Roman society. And as Orthodox Christianity, or what would become known as Catholicism, and Orthodox Catholicism, what became of that is anybody who did not fall underneath the Christian banner actually was persecuted highly. It didn't matter if you were a good Roman citizen or anything like that. If you were caught worshiping anything other than God at that point, you were condemned. And they actually coined the term pagan at that point.
Can I add one thing to that?
Of course.
Okay, so the important thing to remember is that before this shift takes place, it was the Christians that were in that boat.
That is very true. That is very true.
So it went from, if you were Christian, you were put into, prosecuted, put on a cross, condemned, fed to the lions, etc., etc. Well, once the Christians took power by becoming the establishment, it was kind of, well, now it's our turn. And history repeats itself, just different characters playing the main roles. And therefore, all the religions that used to be the primary became the enemy. And you had to have something to demonize it, i.e. paganism.
Yes.
Unless
I'm
very, incorrect,
very big statement. No, you are absolutely correct. You are absolutely 100% correct. Actually, here's a neat little tidbit for the Christians out there in the audience today. Christianity actually predates what history has stated that has existed as, and it was actually a paganistic religion. Extremely earthbound, very spiritualistic prior to the coming of Christ.
No.
It was actually.
I have to disagree with you on that one because I am a conservative Christian, so I believe that the Bible is true and accurate in all the statements that it makes.
Indeed.
The worship of Asherah and the worship of Baal and the worship of the other guy. Can't remember his name right now. Anyway, those are all nature worship religions, and the Jewish people were told not to worship those.
Indeed, actually, you actually just named several of the Sumerian and Babylonian gods.
Yes, I'm fully aware of that, and that's why I wanted to point that out. Is the Jewish people who are looking forward to the cross, the worship of the Messiah, they did not have the Moloch. Thank you, runs with phantoms. Oh,
indeed,
brilliant.
Moloch.
Oh my goodness, I can't believe I forgot that name. I wrote it into my book, for crying out loud. But yes, those are the three main things that the prophets were fighting against. The prophets of the Old Testament were fighting against worship of those three deities. I think of them as demons because it's easier for me to think of them that way.
Because that's what Christianity has defined them as.
Yeah, and so those are the three deities that were railed against constantly for those Christians who were looking forward to the cross and the sacrifice of Jesus. And so afterwards, we're looking back at the cross going, oh, well, anyone who doesn't believe that Jesus was the Son of God is a pagan.
Right.
And that's what we've come to, not just in the Roman times, which is what we're talking about now, but even now, many Christian congregations define any religion that is not the Christian religion that believes that Jesus died on the cross and rose again 3 days later is pagan.
Indeed. Even amongst their own sects of the church, yes. Which is actually why you have so much splintering in the Christian faith.
Yeah. And now we talk about...
actually, Taylor asked a really, really good question down here in the comments.
Do religions falsely talk about other religions?
Yes, they do. It is all propaganda.
Isn't that kind of like the that's kind of the thing, right?
Yes,
if you ain't us, you're bad. That's kind of the way it works.
That is.
I can't take down her comment. Oh, there you go. Okay. No, that didn't work either. Doggone it! Stop it, stupid computer!
Gotta love technology.
Ay.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, and not just about other religions, but about their own religion and the different sects within their religion. So Baptists don't agree with Pentecostals, who don't agree with independent churches, who don't agree with mega churches, who don't agree with, etc., etc. So yes, we are constantly talking bad about each other, and we really should not be. But this is a pagan stream, and yes, every Christian sect condemns paganism. So I want to define what paganism is. Now, we talked about the ancient origins of paganism. What are we going to talk about next? We're going to talk about the Christianity or the Christian conquering of Europe. And how did that happen?
Constantine
said that the Roman Empire is now a Christian empire, and that became the driving factor for Christians to conquer Europe.
Now, see that is a very large thing, actually, because prior to that, you actually had the First Reich, or the First Holy Roman Empire, during the rise of Constantine. So at that point in time, you had the Holy Roman Empire, who answered to the Papal States. Constantine was saying no, but Constantine was also like one of the most interesting figures for Constantinople, due to the fact that he actually hired and he paid for mass pagan armies actually coming out of Russia and a lot of the Nordic armies. It's actually kind of interesting. That's actually where you get your Varangian Guard of Constantinople, who were the last stand against the Turks.
I honestly thought you were going to say Varangian Guard.
Dude, I almost did.
Well, see, and Professor, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but basically what ended up happening was Constantine was took over Rome at a very interesting time, where Rome was in flux.
Indeed.
And what ended up happening was, politically, like if we turn this into a modern day conversation, politically, it was the Christians were gaining sympathy. It was no longer something that the Christian faith itself was gaining too much popularity, and it was becoming too much of a crux to put them down. So what ended up happening was, to bring stability to Rome, he needed to do the change. It was not because he wanted to. Politically, he was forced to. Because if he didn't, then there would have been civil war.
Indeed. Indeed. And actually, I do have to correct myself with Constantine. Runs with Phantoms over here. Actually, you are correct. It was Charlemagne, not Constantine. My names got mixed up there for a moment. Thank you very much. But yes, Constantine controlled the eastern half of the Roman Empire, while Augustus controlled the western side of the empire because it divided itself.
Yeah, well, we're getting a little bit off topic right now.
Apologies.
No,
Apologies.
oh my God, is that our band from way back when?
Oh Lord.
Yeah, sorry.
Now who's getting off topic?
I have
Holy crap, I
have
hated
been
those
playing-
uniforms.
I have been playing while listening, and I needed a picture, and I don't have much on my computer. So yes,
So,
you may or may not be in that picture. I'm not sure.
yeah, Christianization of Europe. What happened is, any religion that was considered pagan at the time was basically wiped out. However, we took a lot from those religions. For instance, we're coming up on Halloween. What was Halloween called way back in the day?
Samhain.
Samhain.
Or Samhain, or however you want to say it. I've heard it said like 30 different. Ireland calls it Saul. So,
Or the winter solstice, aka Christmas.
Yes.
Actually,
Good example. What about
Christmas
Easter?
came from us, but
Oh,
No,
Christmas is not Samhain.
no, Christmas
No.
is not.
no. Halloween
No, we
is
were
Samhain.
talking.
Christmas is the winter solstice. And
Christmas is Yuletide. That came from the Germanic tribes, actually.
Yeah.
So what did we do, right? And the ironic thing is that the Northern Europeans, the Vikings, spread the Norse religion after Christianity conquered most of Europe. So the Vikings came in and said, "Oh no, we believe in Odin and Thor and Loki and everyone else, and so we're going to spread this." And then Christianity tried to absorb that and couldn't. Thoughts on that?
Anybody else want to take this one? They're just kind of wondering if you want to weigh in on this one, Rambling Canuck or Nostriana.
Well, technically, I mean, depending on what, like, I mean, it is true that, I mean, if you go to Greenland now, there are still worships of Odin and
Indeed,
and things of that nature. However, the Christians did eventually get their way, shall we say. but that was more because they had no choice because of armies and people had bigger sticks. But
That is a very good point.
They had more people with sharp, pointy sticks than the people who didn't. And if you wanted to be able to commerce and survive, then you had to. It became, okay, we'll be Christian, but no, we're not. But publicly, Christian, totally. But no, and it became underground, which is what Christianity was. It's interesting because if you go 300 years before that, up to that point when Christianity becomes the accepted religion of Rome, it was very much like what every religion after that became. There used to be secret signals that Christians would give each other that has long been forgotten.
Yeah.
Because you couldn't speak it and you wouldn't dare say something. So you'd make a symbol in the sand, and then there was a response. And if the person didn't put that down, you never mentioned you were Christian.
So moving on, because Christianity did eventually conquer Europe, and Australia.
It was a very, very bloody conquering as well.
It was actually. A lot of people say that the Islam was spread by the sword, but Christianity was spread by the sword as well.
Oh,
so
indeed.
You can't equate one with the other. However, they were spread very similarly.
Indeed. Assimilation and massacre.
Can I just say Kara?
He just asked if he could call you by your name instead of your screen name. She just walked back here, but she's going back out to her computer right now.
Oh, okay. She's going back to her computer now. Okay. I was going to move into because paganism was a blanket term for any religion that was not Christianity. But now we're moving into modern paganism. And that started around the 16th century and has just grown in popularity ever since.
Neo-paganism, especially with the rise of the 1970s.
Oh, yeah. The neo-paganism movement in the 60s and 70s has been amazing. So I don't mean amazing as in I love it. I mean, it's amazing as in how many people have converted to a pagan type religion in the last 50 years. So I wanted to get our neo-pagan opinion on that one. And she is eventually going to get on the screen, right?
Indeed. I can actually tell you about... Oh, there she is.
I'm sorry. Where's the microphone? Okay. I am laughing at the question of you calling me by my actual name. Still.
I go by my actual name once in a while, and so does Robert. But
okay, so I cannot. I stumble over your name too, so you know.
Oh, you do, yeah. You know.
Yeah.
You know me as DJ, and I keep. Or no, you know me as Danny, and I keep telling you to call me DJ.
Exactly. So, what was the question?
The question is modern or neo-paganism. It started in the 16th century and has grown in popularity ever since. You are a neo-pagan. What is your opinion on that? Or your views on that?
Okay, so I would much rather know what people actually did, back in the 12th century. But there's not a whole lot of information on that. Between it being, sacred text and just not passed down between people that would be able to share it. And then people don't share it because they've commuted to Christianity in the whole. Um, but for me, I would much rather know, like, is what I am thinking and believing and knowing as my truth very closely related to what they used to do.
And we
I would
did talk about this a little bit earlier when the professor brought up the spiritualism word, right?
right,
So,
and everything has he wants to use this word that is so um
It's
what
offensive.
did I say it was?
It's offensive.
It's offensive. Yes, it's offensive word.
It's an
Um
accurate word. It's just offensive.
it's offensive, but I think most people practicing in this pagan realm would rather not guess. They would rather know what these people did all those hundreds of years ago and follow that. But right now, actually, we have to guess and kind of take it as like what feels right, and that even like boils down to the individual. Um, Not even like a coven. If there's a whole difference between like what's right for a coven, what's right for an individual, but we're not here for that. Um, but there is no way for us as individuals right now um, to really know without a shadow of a doubt what they did all of those 100 years ago. So we're just making do the best we can.
okay.
We're doing what feels right for us. And I think that's kind of okay, whether it's
Have there been stories or written records passed down through the centuries that allow you to make your neo paganism more accurate to what it was? I mean, depending on which. And the problem with paganism is that it covers so many different religions because the
yeah,
Christian armies conquered so many different countries that had so many different viewpoints on, are you a Pict? Are you a um, are you
anything,
yeah, anything,
anything
yeah.
doesn't matter.
Pict was
You
the
don't have
only
to
thing
name
I could
everything,
remember.
No, a Pict is
right?
a tribe.
And yes,
Well, yeah, but they were
but
nature worshippers, right?
Indeed, they were. Same with they were the Celtic faith, same as others. Except the Picts were really unique in the fact that they actually enjoyed eating people, which is why there are no more Picts in the world. Because, and this is somebody from Scotland, a historian from Scotland, telling me this actually. They were wiped out after the fall of the Roman Empire. Actually, Picts were no longer a good thing to be because people did not want to be eaten by them. Yeah.
Okay.
So, the Pictish faith actually had a lot more blood magic than most of your other Celtic religions. Yes. So that's just a minor difference in those categories there. Fun fact of the day.
All right. I am actually going to go ahead and open this up to the chat. I normally don't do this on Wednesday Wednesdays, but we've got about 15 minutes. So if you guys want to come on up and talk about paganism, we're not talking about the Roman Empire. We're not talking about what we did in the Crusades or anything like that, because Europe was already Christianized by the time of the Crusades. But I'm going to open this up. So if you want to come on and talk about neo-paganism or ancient paganism, you're absolutely welcome to do so. We just went through the history to try and get this the ball rolling on this one.
A very condensed history.
Yeah, very condensed history, but I've only got an hour. I like it this way.
Now, as for myself, for neo-paganism, in Iceland or in Greenland, sorry, there is a temple actually for Satru, which is what I am. I believe in
No,
the ancient
no.
Norse gods.
That's Iceland, not
Is
Greenland.
it? No, it's in Greenland, isn't it?
Because Iceland is green and Greenland is ice.
Well, I know this, but I thought it was in Greenland because I thought it was on the
Nope.
Black Shore.
Nope,
Huh.
you're opposite.
You're not a very good Asatru.
Apparently not. Apparently not. I actually got to double check that real quick.
Pretty sure he's opposite because there's not much at all in Greenland.
There was
She is
one
correct.
that-
It's in Reykjavik. It's in Iceland.
Reykjavik.
Iceland.
It definitely
Reykjavik.
is. They rebuilt the temple to it, but that is actually the base. I thought it was in Greenland. My bad. Look, Juffy is not. I have
Easy
never
mistake.
been there. Huh?
No
Yeah,
worries,
right.
man. No worries.
You
can be a Satru without knowing where your temple is.
Shit. I don't even believe
No,
in
it's
the
an
temple.
easy.
It,
It's an easy mistake. Easy mistake.
in all honesty, I really don't follow many of their teachings because of how modernized it has become. Even in the temple itself, it is completely like hypocritical. So we believe in the gods, but we don't believe they actually exist, which is really, really weird.
That is kind of weird, actually.
Right? It's all like, how does that make any sense? So I don't really understand
Now,
how
the
they
funny
work.
thing is that,
But I refuse to be called an Odinist because of the Aryan Brotherhood and things of that nature actually using
they're
our symbols.
usurping that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, so I really refuse to be called that. That's why I call myself a heathen more than I do a Satru. Because a lot of... Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead. You're continuing, so go.
Most of the things that they teach is very strange.
Well, actually, you know what? You brought up a good point. Heathen and pagan are pretty much interchangeable within the Christian church. So tell me the difference.
Between like the different heathen groups?
Well, no,
Or different
I
pagan
just
groups?
mean the definition of the words. I mean, we've been talking about paganism for about 45 minutes now. I'd like to hear your opinion on the difference between heathen and pagan, because my entire life spent as a Christian has been the terms are interchangeable.
So
Very good question.
So the definition of a heathen, textbook definition, is a person who does not belong to a widely held religion, especially one who is not a Christian, Jew, or Muslim, as regarded by those who do. I'm a heathen solely because I do not conform to those faiths under any circumstance. I actually believe that all gods exist.
Okay, but wait.
So yes,
Isn't that very, very close to the same definition as pagan?
it it is a very close definition. Very close in definition. So the terms could be interchanged. Because I apologize.
So the difference, Mr. CCTV, is who's saying it, and
That'd be a
that's
good way to
basically
put
the
it.
way it goes.
That would be a good way to put it.
All right, it's who's saying it and under what context.
Fair enough.
Um, if you're leading a crusade against something, they would be classed as heathen. If you are just speaking broadly, it'd be pagan because it's a less harsh word.
Indeed, with a lot less of the negatory and derogatory connotation.
Okay. All right. Well, terminology is pretty important, I think. As far as paganism, modern paganism, we're talking about things like Wicca and nature worship and things like that. Whereas heathen, we're thinking atheist or someone who believes that the Christian God is not real.
Actually, Mr. CCDV, you would have to throw Wiccan into that because if you go back just to this to the Spanish Inquisition, they were burned as devil worshipping heathens. Heathen is the word used to pagan is the neutral term. Heathen is the word used to condemn. So if you were to say, well, there are a bunch of pagans, well, that's very neutral. If you were to ramp that up, to add emphasis, to add something to it, then you would change that sentence to they are heathens and therefore they must fall under the boot.
Oh, so it's more
a descriptor. Yeah.
Emotional
I do completely agree with that with the terminology, but all of the people right now who are following Odin as their higher level god, do call themselves heathens as
they're
a good thing.
Yeah, there's a reason that we do that.
They are heathens.
Yes, because
that is the name. Just like you would say, I'm a Christian.
Yeah,
these people say,
yeah,
I'm a heathen.
Yeah, so when they say, and Professor, you can correct me if I'm wrong. So when a person who is of the Odin faith says, I am a heathen, it is because that's what they were called. So they retort it back as a way of spite.
Indeed, because we are the wolves of Odin. We're not the lambs of God. And that's where it all comes from, because of all the bloodshed and everything like that. We label ourselves heathen. That's what the world call us. Then we will be. And if you will fear us for these bloodthirsty heathens, then that is what we are.
Yeah, it's more said out of spite back than it is as a descriptor of the faith. It is said back as, well, if you're going to call me this, I'll show you just how much of a heathen I can be.
Exactly.
Right? And that's the response. So it becomes more of an emotional word and a label than it does, and almost from the opposite end, it's a battle cry. So from one side, it's a label and a way to prosecute, and on the other side, it's a battle cry.
Mhm.
All right. Now we've talked about paganism. We've talked about heathens. Here's the thing. I am a conservative Christian. I believe that God created the heavens and the earth. I believe that He gave His only begotten Son to die on the cross and rise again 3 days later. Anastriana.
Good try.
And
Okay.
the professor are my
Anas.
Anastriana.
Triana.
Striana.
Triana.
Anastriana.
It's Elvish.
Sorry.
Are my best friends.
Love you.
Anastriana
Yes.
and the professor are my best friends who live very close to me, and I trust them with my house, my dogs, and my life. But they are not Christians. So should myself as a Christian condemn them for being a heathen and a pagan?
Short answer to that is
hope
no.
not. 'Cause I
Short
love you.
And we've covered
I
that
don't
before,
care.
Mr. CCDV.
That is a
I
very
don't
short answer, yes.
I don't care what religion you are. And I don't think you care what religion I am. Because the proof is in the pudding, and we are people, and our actions reveal who we are, no matter what higher being we may or may not believe in.
Whatever afterlife you
And
believe in. Yeah.
or whatever afterlife. And even if you at some point decide like, this is just kind of tough for me, I need to surround myself with just all Christian people, that's okay because I love you.
Runs with Phantoms makes
No
a
matter
very
what.
good point. No, God judges, not we. We are not the judges. You are my friend. You are one of my best friends. And the professor, you are one of my best friends. Now, Rambling Canuck and I share the same faith. So I don't worry about his afterlife. I don't worry about your afterlife either, because you know me and you've heard the news, the good news of the gospel of Jesus Christ. So I don't worry about you, because you get to make your own choices in life. And that doesn't mean that we can't get along. That doesn't mean that we can't be friends. So,
Hey, I've been baptized.
so have I.
I was
So have
baptized.
I, but not by
baptized.
choice.
I did choose, but then I realized that this was still just not the right fit for me. Does not mean I don't believe in a higher power. Does not mean that I don't follow rules and rules that are very, very, very similar to the Ten Commandments.
Yeah.
I'm actually the only one that doesn't follow those rules.
Yeah, you kind of do though.
Yeah, I know.
You don't really follow a whole lot of rules.
I try not to follow a whole lot of rules at all. Actually,
he follows my rules.
Anyway,
only 'cause I have to live with you.
Normally, a few minutes ago, I would have given everybody a chance to promote their channel, but I know that you guys haven't gotten yours off the ground yet, so
we're not launched yet.
I am going to give Rambling Canuck a chance to promote his channel. Go ahead, Rambling Canuck.
All right. Well, tomorrow morning, if all things are crossed, I'm going to have a special video dropping because Enterprise didn't this week. It is a hour-long State of Trek conversation between myself and Vance Major from No Budget Productions. That will drop tomorrow morning. Tomorrow evening, we will have karaoke as always. Friday morning on History with R&R, the second video on the Psalm will drop. Saturday will be karaoke. Next Monday will be a very special comedy video on Rambling Canuck because I think we could use some more comedy. And then Tuesday will be a live stream on History with R&R on the Three Sisters, the Titanic, the Olympic, and the Britannic. And then Thursday will karaoke as always. Friday will be the third video of the Psalm. There you go.
All right. Professor, what's your channel going to be about?
I'm actually going to be doing myths and monsters.
Nice.
So we're going to be going through specific monsters every week. And I think I'm going to drop 2 videos a week. One about the monsters, and then one about the cultures that they stem from. So kind of giving it more of a reason behind the monster.
And Anastriana? I got
Good
it right
job.
that time.
Good job. You did it. My channel is going to be completely boring and nobody's going to watch it. So I am doing random makeup video things and having the professor as a what's it called?
A test dummy?
Guinea pig?
Yes, guinea pig test dummy. Random co-star. I'll hopefully get to do his makeup at some point as some kind of monster, and that'll be great. But just knowing your viewer ratio here, if anyone's interested in makeup, then that's what I'm going to be starting doing. And Professor is starting that tomorrow, and I will be starting next week.
All right. Good deal.
Oh, I'm also going to be doing a blacksmithing tutorial and channel. So once I get that all set up as well.
No, he's not.
She doesn't want me to, but I'm going to.
No, it's too loud. Too loud.
Well, I'll get back to my cooking. I'll get back to my cooking videos next week. Unfortunately, for now, my son is in California with his mom, so I'm not able to do cooking videos right now. As soon as the professor and Anastriana go live, I can drop those links. But for now, the link for Rambling Canuck is in the chat. Please do subscribe and hit that like button for the videos you like. I will be doing Pain Volume 4 tomorrow at noon Central Time. That's 10 o'clock our time, guys. Shh. Don't tell Rambling Canuck that Mountain Central Time is Mountain Standard Time is better than Central Time.
You believe your delusions all you want.
and hey, if you want to do a cooking video, I'll video it for you if you feed me.
Oh, well, I do actually have a sourdough starter.
Oh, I can't eat that.
No.
I can.
I've got a whole bunch of other recipes, though.
We'll help you video, dude.
Okay.
Okay.
But yeah, tomorrow I'll be doing Pain Volume 5. Sunday I will be doing Acts chapter 6?
7.
7. Acts chapter 7. Thank you.
I think. I'd have to double check, but I think it's 7.
Aye.
I could be wrong.
Sunday morning will be Acts.
Pretty sure you're at 7.
I'm not sure that I will be able to do the karaoke because my diaphragm is hardening again. So I'm not sure I'll be able to do karaoke, but I will drop by and see if I can sing a song or two. Let's see what else. Cooking videos. Spiritual stream next week is Buddhism. Did I say that
I thought we
right?
were doing Hinduism first.
Are we doing? Oh, we're doing Hindu first. Okay, so next week is Hindu. The following week is Buddhism.
Okay, because the way you said it, I almost the song "Shake Your Booty" came to mind.
Yeah.
Buddhism.
Just saying.
We could discuss this, but
I'm just saying.
So I actually need to sign off so I can take care of business, eat a little bit of food, and then go on to the ambassador's channel. And I can actually talk about the Night of the Living Dead. Woohoo!
I'm going to tune in for that one, I think.
That's going to be fun. That starts in about 15 minutes. So
All right.
we will sign off now. God bless everyone and have a great evening.